Right. So in the previous class, we have seen how we can handle static web table, which is having static content, static number of rows and columns, or fixed number of rows and columns. So today we'll see how we can handle dynamic table. So let me show you how exactly the nature of dynamic table. And if I go to this page, so this is actually the dynamic table. And if I look at this page, whenever you refresh this particular page, the columns, each column will be interchanged. For example, let's say the first column is what name, and there are four rows are there, and again four columns are there. Now, when you refresh the page, now you can see these columns are interchanging, but the first column is same, but the rest of the columns they interchanging. Now again, second column is network this time. So when you refresh the page one more time, now second column becomes a disk. Again, when you refresh the page, again memory. So every time when you open this page, you will get the a dynamic column here. The same four columns will be interchanging, and that is a column. And the second thing is the rows also interchanging. So for example, let's say in the first row we have an Internet Explorer. Now when you refresh it, now you can see in the first row we have a Firefox data. Now again, if you refresh it, again Internet Explorer. Again, if you refresh it, again Internet Explorer. So these rows also randomly keeps changing. Even the columns also randomly keeps changing. So this is the nature of this table, which is a dynamic table. Now, so we need to do some kind of validation in this. So like we can find the number of rows, columns, all those things. The main important thing is the data is which is important. So if I look at here in this, my requirement is, so whenever you refresh the page first time or whenever you open the page, so we'll see some data. So in this, you need to find out Chrome. So where exactly it is placed. And along with that, you need to check the percentage, CPU percentage. And that value is exactly equal to CPU, Chrome CPU value here, which is there in the yellow box or orange box. And if I look at here, and currently the Chrome is in the second row. And the CPU column is what? 1, 2, 3, fourth column. So Chrome data is there in the second row and the CPU percentage in the fourth column. Now if I look at this, it is interchanged. Now Chrome becomes the third column and the CPU again fourth column itself. Now again, if you refresh the page, so now you can see this time Chrome becomes the fourth row and CPU becomes the second column, third column. Okay, now this value we need to capture wherever the Chrome is displayed in whichever row it is. We need to first go to that row, or we need to capture the data from that particular row and not all the data. So we need to exactly capture the CPU percentage, and then we will verify that is exactly equal to Chrome CPU. So this is the value we need to verify. So the major challenging part in this table is we cannot check, or this Chrome value is keeps changing the row. So if it is in fixed row, we can specify the nth value, the row number, and we can get the name, first column. But even though the first column name is fixed, but the Chrome value is keeps changing every time. So we need to get this wherever it is. And once you get this Chrome, from the same row, we need to extract CPU percentage. And that we need to compare with the actual Chrome CPU percentage. So this is a validation we have to do from this table. So let's go and see how we can handle this. So each and every type of dynamic table is having different kind of a behavior, different kind of a scenarios, guys. So don't expect the all dynamic tables are having same kind of a behavior. So we need to frame the logic according to the table design. So this is just for your understanding, an example I'm giving, but you need to improve the logic on it. So now day 26, keep creating another file and I'll name it as test underscore a dynamic table. Test underscore dynamic table. And as usual, first we need to import everything, expect and also page. And after that, def test underscore verify Chrome CPU load, and passing page picture and then page class. Okay, so now first of all, we need to go to the page. So we need to navigate to the page.goto, and then pass this URL as a parameter. Now, so what is the first thing before working with the table? So what's the first thing we need to do? We need to capture the whole table and then we will try to get the data from the table. So first we need to grab the locator for the table. Now if I go back to the page and let's locate the table, go to selector hub and write our own CSS. And first of all, inspect this table and see what are the rows and columns which we have. And currently there is a tag called table. Do you see any tag here? This is actually table div data. So all the div tags are present inside the table. So we can see some table here. Okay, so I think there should be some tag called table. So let me inspect properly. Okay, so here it is. Table class equal to table space a table scripted. So let us use this class to locate the element tag and class. So to specify the tag and class, I can say table dot. What is the class value here? Table space a table hyphen scripted. So whenever we have a space here, you no need to consider the second part most of the times. You can simply say the first part. So table dot. Why I'm using dot here? Because class name. So tag dot class. So this is able to match with element. That is our table actually. But again, we need to get the T body. So inside this table, there is a T header. So T head is representing the header part. And T body contains actual data. So every TR contains a table row. Every TR is representing the table row. So we need to get here T body. So I'm just giving one space and writing the T body. Now this is actually matching with the entire table along with the body. So now I'm grabbing the table locator dot page dot locator and specify the tag here and then say table. Now we need to get the all the rows from the table. So first of all, what is our requirement? We need to first find out the Chrome, in which row this Chrome is present. So anyway, this is present in the first column. So the column is not changing. Even the location is changing. Like currently it is in last row. Next time, maybe it will be first row or second row or third row. So we don't know exactly where it is placed. So we need to grab all the rows from the table, each and every row from the table. So how we can do page dot look, we already captured the table here. So from the table, can we grab all the rows? Chaining of locator, table dot locator of tr. So which is actually gives all the rows from a table. But in which format it will give you? In the locator format. In the locator format means what? All the rows will be in the locator form. But if you want to write a looping statement or if you want to work with the data, we should the locator should be in the list format. So how to convert this into list format? We have a method called all, right? So this will actually convert all the locators into list of locators. And that I'm going to store in a variable called rows. This is actual rows representing. So what exactly we are doing here? We are get all rows from the table. Okay, so here we are locating the table. Locating the table. Now we got all the rows in the form of list. Now we can repeat each and every row, right? One by one, because the rows is a list of locators. So what I can do now, I can write a looping statement for I'm getting row one by one from the rows. So I can create one variable called row. In operator means row in rows, because what is rows here? This is a list actually, right? So rows is a list. So how to capture items from the list one by one using in operator. So from the rows, first row will be stored in the row variable. And then what we should do now from this particular row, we have to get the TDs, because if I look at the first TR, this is the data we want actually. Again, but not all the TDs. We need only one TD, and that is the first column, right? Because we want to focus first only on the browser. So in the first TR, I'm grabbing the first TD, right? So how we can write it now? So from this particular row, again, chaining of locator, row dot locator of TD. If I write only this part, it will match all the TDs in this particular row. So let us assume we got the only first row. So every time when this loop is repeating, every time we will get a new row. So let us assume we got first row now. From the first row, when I say only locator of TD, it will return all the TDs in the first row. But which one we need exactly? The first TD we need actually. So how to grab the first TD here? So this is written multiple TDs. Now I want to get the first one. First TD. What is the method? In the last class, we have seen dot nth of 0. Index will start from 0. And again, from this TD nth of 0, which we are exactly pointing here, from this I want to get the text value, inner text. So use another method, dot inner text. So this will actually gives the browser name. So, or we can simply say process name, because the column name is this one. They are basically calling is process name or browser name, whatever. So I'm just storing that value in a process name or browser name. Okay, now we got the process name. So now what we need to do, from the first nth row, we got the process name, which is actually browser name. We grab the browser name because browser name is always there in the first column. So 0 index start from 0. Now what is the validation we have to do now? Whatever process name we are getting here, if the process name is Chrome, so because every time the Chrome value will be in the different rows, every time you won't see in the same row. Now we can see in the second row. Okay, so we need to repeat each and every row from the table. So that is the logic we need to apply. So let me repeat once again. So how we can achieve this? We need to first grab each and every row data. First, we will focus here. Grab this entire row and check this name is Chrome or not. If it is a Chrome, then directly grab the CPU percentage. And if it is not Firefox, then go to the next one. Sorry, if it is not Chrome, then go to the next one. Now again, match the browser. If it is matching, go and get this value. Even here also not matching, then go to the next browser. If it is matching, then grab the CPU percentage. And once it grabs the CPU percentage, compare with this value which is displayed here. So we need to repeat this for loop till Chrome is matched. As soon as the Chrome is matched, we need to immediately grab the CPU percentage and break the loop. So this is a simple logic we need to apply here. Now, so inside the for loop, we are just implementing this. Go back. So we got the process name. From the nth of 0, we got the process name. It's a browser name. Now we need to verify it. How we can verify? If a process name equal to Chrome. If the process name equal to Chrome, so then what we should do? We should again grab this CPU percentage. Okay, so this is a very challenging thing. So how we can grab the CPU percentage? Okay, Chrome is matching fine. From the same row, we need to grab the CPU percentage. And which column it is? 1, 2, 3, fourth column. But again, if you refresh the page, now it is the second column. In the first and second column. Again, if you refresh the page, now it went to the last column. So column is not fixed here, but we are able to get the browser name because it is a fixed column. So you hard coded this value. Nth of 0 means always first column. But if you want to grab this percentage value, can we specify like this nth of 0 something like this? No. By passing index, we cannot grab that value because the column is not always constant. So every time the CPU percentage column keeps changing. So now we need to properly write few functions in CSS. I'll tell you. Sometimes we can also use regular expression also. I'll tell you. So if process name equal to Chrome, okay, then what we should do is from the same row, whatever row we captured here or whichever row we have extracted this process name from the same row, write a locator. When I say locator of TD, again, it is matching with all the TDs. And currently the Chrome CPU percentage is 0, 1, 2, 3, fourth column. So if you say dot nth of 4, for example, if I write like this, nth of 4 dot inner text, if I write this method, then what will happen? Sometimes it will work, sometimes may not work, because every time you won't find the percentage value, CPU load value in the fourth column. It keeps changing whenever you open the page. So we cannot specify the nth of 4. Instead of that, we can add something here. So TD is a tag. Now we have one function in CSS called has text, has hyphen text, has hyphen text. So what is the text it should contains? We are getting the T value. We want to locate the TD, but which TD you want to locate? So that TD should contains what? The percentage symbol. The percent, maybe the value also keeps changing. So currently it is 5.1. Right? Again, if you refresh the page, next time it will be different. So you can see the percentage value here, 7%. The value we cannot rely on, but the percentage symbol is constant, which is there, right? Always. So TD column has a text percentage. So this is exactly matching with that value. So now wherever it is, in whichever column it is, this is able to grab that value correctly. Okay, TD has hyphen text percentile. So in the TD, whichever TD, you have multiple TDs, but whichever TD is having percentile symbol, that value will be grabbed by this locator. And we are also using the text. This is returning the value, CPU load, underscore CPU load. I'm storing into CPU load. Now what is the next thing? We can simply print this CPU load of Chrome. I can simply print the CPU load here. Now what we need to know, what we should do now, as soon as the processes got matched and we grabbed the CPU load and we just printed immediately, do we need to report, we need to repeat the for loop one more time? No, because as soon as the match is successful, once you grab the CPU load, our requirement is satisfied. So we no need to go to the next thing. Okay, so immediately what we should do, if we want to break this loop, simply use a break. So this will break the entire for loop because we already matched it. We capture the CPU load and we just printed and immediately we can break it. Suppose we got the process name, but if condition is not matched, then what will happen? Again, it will go up and get another row. So this will repeat till all rows have completed or till the process name is get matched. So this is the logic. Now come back to our session. Now come out from the for loop. So what is our validation here? So whatever CPU percentage we grabbed here from the table, that should be equal to this one. So the value which is displayed in the orange box should be equal. So now what we need to do, we need to grab the locator for this yellow box. So how to write this locator for this? Go back here and this is a DOM, PID equal to CPU Chrome. This is ID directly available. So I can use hash of ID for CSS. One element is matching, the whole element is matching. And if I look at the text, this is complete text, Chrome CPU colon, and this value again keeps changing, right? This value is not dynamic. Whichever value is displayed in the table, same value. So we need to verify this one, 7%. And we already grabbed it from the table. That is exactly equal to this one. So let us use this locator. And after coming out from the for loop, we need to write this expect. I'm writing directly expect page.locator. I'm writing the locator. Okay, now we need to check in this particular locator. We want to verify the text value, whatever we grabbed here, CPU load, that should be there inside this locator, inside this element. Okay, so what is the method we have? We have a new method called to contain text. To contain text, because we cannot provide whole thing, because this keeps changing. CPU load keeps changing. We cannot hardcode this. So whatever CPU load we have grabbed it from the for the Chrome browser, the same CPU load we need to expect in the yellow box, right? So whatever the Chrome satisfied, the condition is satisfied, and now we got the CPU load here, and the same CPU load value we are expecting here. Now the main thing, can we access the CPU load value in outside of the for loop? Because I have written this expect outside of the for loop. If I put this expect inside the for loop, even expect also will keep repeating multiple times for every value. It doesn't make any sense. So can we access this particular CPU load inside my assertion? Yes or no? Can we access? No. Why? Because this is defined. This variable is defined inside the if condition. Again, that's a part of the for loop. So we cannot access this outside of the for loop, right? Now we have to define this variable outside of the variable. Just put some empty value. Just put single double quotes. That's it. Now this is a variable we are able to access everywhere. Outside of the for loop also, we can access the variable along with the value. Okay, this is the procedure. Okay. So after that, I'll wait for some time here. Page dot wait for timeout. 5 seconds. So let us see how it is going to work every time, whether it is passing or not, even though the columns, rows, everything is changing in the table every time when you launch the page. So every time it should pass, because whatever the CPU load we are extracting here for the Chrome, we are matching it here. And every time the CPU load value is also dynamic. We cannot expect that value. So that's the reason we should not hard code anything here. All right. Now let us run this test. Right click, modify run configuration. I'm providing hyphen headed mode. Apply, say okay, and then run it. I'll give one assignment also based on this. You guys can try later. Test framework with an aspect. I think the file name is not correct. Just a second. Here we need to provide the .py, I guess. Test.dynamic table and .py. Sync, playwright, expect page. Okay, just a moment. Oh, sorry. Hyphen headed. All right. So now it is started running on my headed mode. Now we can see Chrome is in second row and the percentage value in the CPU load is the last column. Perfect. Now 2.1 is exactly captured. My assertion is got passed. Now one more time, I'm going to run this. So this time Chrome is the last row. Percentage is also last column, 8.7. Perfect. So now we got a value. So I think it is still not executed. So let me run once again. Right click. We need to run from here because we set the configuration here. 6.9%. Perfect. So we got a 6.9% CPU load. So every time it is working perfectly fine. So this is how we can simply handle. So based on this, I will also give one assignment. You guys can try the same type of table, but there are multiple validations. If I just scroll down, this is a dynamic table, same type of table. So first column is fixed column. And here disk in MB, CPU percentage, network Mbps, memory MB. So same type of a table. The data keeps changing. And here you need to do 4 validations. One is you need to check CPU load for Chrome process 1.8% here. So here 1.8% you need to capture. Again, the columns keeps changing every time. We have already seen this part. And rest of the 3 you guys can try. So memory size of Firefox process 59.0. Even these values also not fixed. These values keep changing. Memory size of the Firefox means what? We need to get the Firefox in whichever column we have. And once you get the Firefox, then we need to get the process. Where is the process? Mbps. Here it is. MB. So this value we need to extract. So how to extract this value for the Firefox? Because 59.0 is not a constant. This keeps changing. But we need to extract this. Again, memory MB column is not a large column every time. It keeps changing. So to extract this value, MB, suppose when I say MB, that is also matching with the first column, even third column also, right? If I say only MB has the text MB, just like this. So has a text MB, if I specify like this, has a text percentile. If I say has a text MB, how many things are matching here? First one, second, third. 3 values are matching. So here we need to write a proper regular expression. So we need to write a proper regular expression. So with that regular expression, we can handle this. Okay, so I will give the tip for this. You guys can check later how to write the regular expression. Similarly, network speed of Chrome process. We need to grab the Chrome process wherever it is, and we need to get the network speed. So this is our network speed. And check this 0.8 Mbps exactly equal to this one. And disk space of Firefox process. Again, we need to get the Firefox process. and get the disk space value, which is this one. And that value should be present here. You need to compare this. So these are the 4 requirements. You can try this. Okay, this is assignment for dynamic table. So now let us move on to the another type of table called pagination table. Means so far all the data is present in one single page. Sometimes if you want to see all the data, we need to navigate from one page to another page, which is basically called as a pagination table. So we cannot see the entire data in one single page. So multiple pages, the data is present. So we need to navigate each and every page and grab the data. So let us see how we can handle the pagination table. Close this and let me show you pagination table. So I'm taking one example here, one web page. And these designs are not constant every time, guys. Pagination table, dynamic table, depends upon the design, keeps changing. So there are n number of designs are there. We cannot see each and everything in the session. I'm just giving one example for each and every type. So this is one of the pagination table. Okay, so now, yeah, now if I look at this table, this is the table. And by default, it display only 10 records, 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. Right. If I increase this, if suppose 25, then 25 rows. And say maximum 100 rows will be displayed. So it depends on the filter. By default, 10 rows. And if you want to see other rows, we can just navigate from the pages. So we can say by default, one is populated. Now we need to go to the second one. Second page. Now third page, fourth page, fifth page, sixth page. Now 6 is the last page. We don't have any other page. Okay, this is the paging. So we need to navigate to each and every page and grab all the rows and columns from the table. So we will try to achieve this requirement first. We need to navigate each and every page, and parallelly we need to grab all the rows and columns from this table till the last page. Okay, we don't know. Initially, do we know how many pages are there? No, maybe tomorrow the data keeps adding. So number of pages also keep increasing. So there is no, we don't know the maximum page value at the beginning stage. So we need to assume that first. So do we know exactly how many pages are in the table? No, because the data, if we keep adding more data, so number of pages will be automatically increased. So we need to start writing a logic by specifying we don't know exactly the number of pages. Okay, we need to prefer while loop here instead of using for loop. Because if we want to use a for loop, we need to know exact where we need to start, where we need to stop. But here we don't know where we need to stop actually. Where we need to start, we know, but where we need to stop exactly, we don't know. Depends on the condition checking, and then we can stop the looping statement. So in that particular case, we will try to prefer the while loop instead of for loop. Okay. So that's the main thing here we need to understand. So let us see how we can handle this table. Create another class, another Python file, test underscore pagination table. Okay, so as usual, we'll import everything and def test underscore pagination underscore table. Page fixture from page class. Okay, so the first thing is we need to go to the page dot go to and launch this page. So once this page has got launched, now we need to read the data from each and every page one after another. And I said we need to prefer the while loop here. So when you prefer the while loop, we need to put the condition. Condition is common, right? If you write any looping statement, condition is mandatory. So by default, it is populated the first row data. So what we need to do is we need to take one variable and before writing the while loops. So let me take one. Let's say I'm taking one variable that has more pages. This is just a variable. Okay. Have more pages. By default, I'm making this value true. So later, we will make this value false whenever all pages data, once we have read all the pages of data, we'll make this variable value false. Until then, this variable values keeps true and while loop keeps repeating. So here we will use that variable. So while has more pages. or you can say equal to true also, you can put like this condition. Okay, you can put like this, or by default, we have put true, right? If it is a true only, then it will proceed. So this is also optional. So while has more pages, that means if it is a true, then what we should do, we should start reading the rows from a table. And before reading rows, what we need to know how many rows are there in a table, right? Before reading all the rows from this page, we have to know how many rows are there. So here 10 rows are fixed. So we need to grab all the rows because we want to get the data, right? How to get the rows from this table. So how to get the rows from a table. So page dot locator, and we need to write a proper CSS for this to grab the data from all the rows. Now look at this. Go to selector hub. Here I'm writing a locator. So if I look at this particular table and see what are the tags which is provided, just you can see all TRs and TDs only. And if I go back and see, this is a table actually. This is a table and ID provided. So I can say hash ID value is what? Example. Example. And we need to go T body directly because we want to deal with the data. Space T body. And also not only T body, we want to get all the rows. I want to grab all the rows. So immediately I said TR also. So totally 10 rows, 10 elements are matching. Each and every TR is representing one row. Now I'm using this CSS here. Right? So this will actually returns all the rows in the form of locators, but we need to store them in the form of list. So use all method here. And this is actually returns the rows. Now, once you get all the rows, can we repeat each and every row? Yes. How we can repeat? Using for loop. So we already used while loop, but inside this we need another for loop, because this while loop is for what? Repeating the pages here, because we next time we need to go to each and every page. For that we are using while loop because we don't know where we need to stop. What is the limiter? But we already know the limit, right? Rows limit. 10 rows are fixed. So in that case, we can happily go with the for loop. So here I'm writing one for loop to read each and every row from multiple rows. So for I'm taking one variable called row in rows. So from the rows, each and every row one by one, it will capture. And I'm just printing from this particular row, I'm getting the inner text. So when I say row.inner text, it will print the entire data from that particular row. Means what? Which include columns data also, all the columns. Because the TR is representing one row, the entire row. So when I say inner text, I'm not specifically saying particular TD. So when I use inner text with the TR, whatever the text content is there in this all TDs will be returned. It will just print like a one single row. So now let me use that method. So row dot inner text. Okay, it will print. So this loop will keep repeating for 10 times. After repeating 10 times, what will happen then? It will go to the while loop again. So this loop repetition is completed. Then again, it will go to while loop. And what is the value of the has more pages? Still, it is a true only. Again, it will gap all the rows. And one more important thing we need to do, guys, because as soon as you read all the rows of data, we need to go to the next page. We should not break the loop. So once you read all the 10 rows, we need to go to the next page and again get the 10 rows. Again, go to next page and grab all the 10 rows. For every while loop iteration, we have to reiterate for loop also parallelly. So after printing the text, we should not stop here. We need to get the next button, which is important. So how we can go to the next page? For now, this is the first place. In the first page we are. If you want to go to the next page, we need to we are not going to click on these buttons because these are also dynamic. We don't know how many pages displayed here. If I have more data, maybe it will be 10 buttons will be displayed in the pager. So we should not rely on this. We should rely on this one. So the single arrow greater than symbol. When you click on this, now you can see navigated to the second page. Again, one more time, third page, fourth page, fifth page, sixth page. So as soon as we reach the last page, now this button is disabled. So when it is disabled, as soon as we reach the last page, this button is disabled. This is very crucial step. So this button says when to stop. Okay, so initially we are in the first page. So after reading the data from the first row, we need to go to the next page. So how to go to the next page? We need to click on this button. So inspect this element. This one you can see this is the one I want to highlight. Go to selector hub. Now I'm writing locator for this. This is basically a button element. So I'm using attribute. Inside this, there are some attributes. Class is there, but this class will may be the same for other elements also. And do you have anything here? Area label next. Area label next. I'm taking help of this property. Area label next. This is an attribute. Perfect. So one element is matching. So I'm trying to use this one now. Copy, go back. So outside of the for loop, we need to extract the next button. Page dot locator and single quotation inside the single quote not allowed. So better to put single quote here. So this is the element. So what is this actually? This is a next button. Next button. So what we need to do on this? We need to click on this. We need to click on this button. Then only we will go to the next page. Then only we will go to the next page. Okay, but when we need to click on the button? One more condition. Okay, so to go to the next page, okay, we have to click on this. In case there is no next page, we already reached sixth page. So then we will able to click on this or not. That will throw exception because this is not clickable. This is the disabled state. So before clicking on this button, we have to check whether it is disabled state or not, right? Because at the beginning stage, if you are in the first page, second page, or fifth page, till you are in the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth pages, this button is enabled state, you can click on it. But once you reach the last page, this button is disabled. So as soon as the disabled, what does it mean? The data is got finished. So we need to skip or we need to break the loop. So this is a crucial step. So before clicking on this button, we need to check this is enabled or not. So how we will know whether it is enabled or not or disabled or not? We will look at this. For example, I'm in the first page. This is crucial step. Listen very, very carefully. So I'm pointing to the first page. Now, if I look at the class, see, I'm pointing to the first page. Now, inspect this element. Next button element. Currently, I'm in the first page and inspecting this element. What is the class value here? DT paging hyphen button next. Remember this. So this is the value. Let me write it here. Okay, this is the value. So when this is actually class value, right? Class attribute value of the next button. When this is the attribute, if it is enabled state. So when you will get this value when it enable state. Suppose I reached the last page. Now it is turned into disable state. Now if I look at this, see what is the value you are getting now, class value. This is the latest value. For the same element, when we are in the 1 to 5 pages, the class value is this one, DT paging button next. But once you reach the last page, there are no more records are available. In that case, for the same element, the class values got changed. Till here it is same, but it is previously it is just a next, but this time it is disabled next. So based on this, we will differentiate whether that element is enabled or disabled state. Okay. So I'm writing a simple logic here. So we already captured the next button. Till here, everything is fine. But how we will get the state, how we will know the state of the button based on this class attribute, right? Both are classes only, but the values got different. So we need to extract this value, class value. How to extract the attribute value of the particular element, page.locator. How to grab, what is the method we have? So not this locator. Next button we already captured. Now I want to grab the attribute of the element. How to get the attribute of any element? Next button dot get attribute. This is also in the last class we have seen this method. Get attribute. Which attribute method, which attribute value you want? Class. Specify that. So what this will return actually? This will return either this one or this one. So when you are in 1 to 5 pages, it will return this one. Or when you are in the last page, then return this one. Okay. So now once you get an attribute, I'm storing into one more variable. I say is disabled. I'm just taking some variable here. Is disabled. Okay. Now we need to check before clicking on this. We need to check when we have to click on that next button. If it is enabled, then we have to click. Otherwise, no. So here I'm writing something. If disabled. So if I look at these two class names, we are checking this one actually. So this entire class name, we are expecting disabled should be there. In entire class value, you're expecting disabled should be there. So we just passing this. If this particular string is present in is disabled, then what does it mean? Is it last page or not? Yes. So what we need to do now, we need to make has more pages false. This is the logic. So whenever this button is in disabled state or this class value were extracted, right? So here we extracted the value of class attribute. Okay. So once extracted, we are checking this disabled text is present here or not. If it is there, what does it mean? There are no more pages. So we make it as a false. Else, for example, then what we should do? We should click on the button. So take the next button, dot, perform click action. Simple. That's it. This will taking care of all the pages. Okay. Now let me repeat once again. Initially, we don't know how many pages are there, how many pages of data we have. So that is the reason we don't know how many number of times we need to keep clicking on this next button. So that's the reason initially we are assuming has more pages true, because we need to make this condition true. That's the reason initial value true I'm taking. So then if has more pages, then extract all the rows from the current page. And from all the rows, read each and every row and print the text. So by the time this for loop is completed, first page 10 records have been displayed. And after that, we will grab the next button and check disable or not. If it is a disabled, make has more pages false. If it is not disabled, go and click on the next button. Once you click on the next button, then what will happen? Again, go to while loop, has more pages true, because until unless the button is got disabled, has more pages cannot become false, right? So else when I execute next else part means what? Again, has more pages still true. Again, you grab the another rows from another page. Again, print all the rows. Again, get the next button. Again, check the disabled status or not. Okay, so this is how we will grab all the data. So how to test table was not populated, although table was there. So we need to check the row number. So here we have already captured the rows, right? So we need to check the count. In the previous class also, we have seen such type of validation. If the count equal to 0 means there are no rows. There are no rows populated. If the row is equal to 0 means. Not null actually, 0. Because count will always return 0. It won't return any null. 0 means no more records, 0. Or else you can use expect rows dot to have count method. So we also have a to have count assertion. Directly you can assertion you can put. Okay. Now let us run the test and see whether you are able to read all the data or not. If there are null records then, so null records in the sense what? 0 will be returned. So because locator will not match any row, right? Suppose if there is no rows available, for example, in this, only headers are there. There is no data available. So how this logic work in this case? Initially, even though it is a true, it won't get any rows here. If it is not getting any rows, then obviously it won't get any text. So this code will be executed, but it won't print anything in the output. That's how it will execute. So disabled here in if condition, you're matching with attribute text value. Exactly. That's the reason I'm telling. So here the attribute of class can be this one or this one. When we are in 1 to 5 pages, the class attribute value is this one. And if we are reaching the last page, then class attribute value turn into this one because it becomes a disable. Whenever this element is disabled, the next button is disabled, you can see additional value in the class attribute value. So we are checking this one is present in the whole class attribute value by using if condition. This is the logic. Okay. Now let us run and see whether it's printing all the data from the table or not. Let's go and run it. Right click, modify run configuration, --, headed. Okay, so now it is started reading all the data. Now we can look at this. So almost all the rows of data is successfully read. And if you want to see one by one, step by step, you can just will pass this code for some time. Once you print pages of data one by one, so I will try to put some wait times so that you will able to see. Page dot wait for timeout. For each page, I will try to wait 3 seconds. Okay. Yes, you can also export this file. We can call it as a web scraping. You can export this data, whatever you're printing, you can export to the file using file handling concepts. So in the Python sessions, I have explained about file handling, how to write data into the text files, right? So you can apply that concept. Additionally, you need to add some more code here. Right, let me run once again. So this time we will able to see it is navigating to each page or not. Now currently it is in first page, second page, third page, fourth page, fifth page, now sixth page, the last page, and now it is disabled. There are no more rows and then it is exited. Okay, so this is how we need to write. So Jyoti, you guys can try actually. So if not, you can try in the Python sessions. I have told you file handling. Simple. So here you need to just, I'm just giving the clue. You guys can try it. Instead of printing, you create one text file. Okay. Or you can also use a method called file.open method. So that in the writing mode, you have to open the file in by specifying W. After that, you have to write each and every row, right? So you need to use append method. File.append method. So just add only those two statements after this print or instead of print, and that will automatically dump entire data in the external file. So you guys can try, or else I will add the step later. Okay. It's not much thing. It's very simple. Just two statements, you can do that. And if you don't know about the files, go to the session, file handling session. You will understand how to create a file and how to write the data. Okay, so this logic is clear to everyone. So how we can handle the pagination table. So I'm going to show you one more validation in this table. So these type of logics are very important, guys, because these are not always same. It keeps changing from table to table. If design is totally different, then this logic won't work. You need to design according to the tables. Okay, so now let us go and check the filters. So far we have just grabbed some data, right? So we need to just go to the filters now. Let us check the filters. Filters are properly working or not. So for example, if I say 10, only 10 rows should be displayed here. And if I say 20, then the rows should be 25. And when I say 100 rows should be displayed. That is a validation we want to do now. So let's see how we can do the filter validation on the same table. So let me write another test instead of writing same thing. Def test underscore filter rows, page and page. So I'm writing another test for filtering purpose. So I need to again launch the same application one more time. Now here we need to deal with the drop down, guys, because the drop down is provided for filtering. So the first thing is what by default 10 will be there. We need to grab this drop down first, drop down element. And this is select box. And if you have a select clause, we can easily select that option using select option method, either using label or value or index, whatever. So go back and get the locator. So this is ID available for this drop down. So I'm using this ID. Go back and page dot locator. And this will actually returns the drop down. Get this drop down. And then we need to select the value from the drop down before checking the number of rows. So what is the validation here? If you select 10, 10 rows should be there. If I select 25, then 25 rows should be there. Right? So from this drop down, we have to select one option using select option method. Select option. We can directly specify the label, or you can use keyword called label equal to. We need to put, even though it's a number, we need to put in the text format. Let's make it as a 25, for example. So when I select 25 here, exactly 25 rows should be there in this table. Now we have selected 25 from the drop down. Then what we should do? We should get all the rows from a table. So we already written one locator for getting all the rows from a table here, right? Same thing we can grab here. But this time we want to add validation. Validation. So we should not take all, because validations we cannot put as expectations, we cannot put on the values. We can put only on the locators. Now I'm using expect directly here, or else you can store them in a rows. I'm taking one variable called rows. Page.locator example tbody tr. So this is exactly pointing all the rows. Even if you 2500, all rows are matching with this. I'm storing into rows. Now we want to put one assertion. So how many rows we are expecting? We have to specify here. Expect rows. Yeah. Now what is the function? What is the method here? To check count. To check number of locators or number of elements. Dot to have count. Many times we have used this. How much count we are expecting here? 25 we provided. So the value also should be 25 rows. Okay, this is returning number actually. So this locator is returning the number, not a string. So this is the validation. So if I said 10 here, then it should be 10. If I said 100 here, it should be 100. Simple validation, basic validation. Okay, so let us run this test. Pagination table. So both the tests will be running. Now, yeah, once it is read all the columns, so then it will try to filter, because we have written two tests. So once the first test is got completed, the page will be closed automatically. Then it will open another new page. Okay, now my first test is got completed. Now it is started my second test. Yes, second test is very faster. And my assertion is got passed. So this is got passed. So let us execute only this one. And how we can skip this test? How we can skip the test? Anybody remember? We have some fixture here. Yes. At the rate PyTest dot marker dot skip. And how to use this? At the rate. And when I use this, we need to import PyTest. Import PyTest. Okay, so this particular decorator, or we can say annotation, will skip this particular test. Now when I run this, only second test will be executing. It is giving an error. PyTest or marker dot skip. Is there any spelling mistake? Reference marker, just a moment. PyTest dot mark dot skip. Not marker, it is just a mark. Okay. Right. Yes, it will go very faster. Perfect. Now it is successfully done. Okay, so this is how we will do it. Suppose if you want to print a number of rows, because in the console it is not giving the rows. So number of rows filtered. Yeah. So if we want to capture that value, how we can capture from this? We can use a count. So this will actually gives a number, how many rows are selected. Here we have given 25. So here it will print 25 and it will match 25. Run it. Yeah. So now you can see number of rows filtered at 25 and exactly matched and passed. So this is the way we can simply verify the filters of the pagination tables. So as I said before, the tables not having same kind of a design. So different table, different type of data, different type of designs will be there. So accordingly, you need to frame the logic and you need to implement this. Okay. So these are all about tables concept. So based on this, I'll give you assignments today. 3 assignments. You have to try this. The first assignment I already told you. So in this particular page, test automation blogspot.com, in this, try to handle this particular table, dynamic web table, and all these 4 you need to validate. And for each validation, write a different test, multiple tests. 1, 2, 3, 4 tests you need to write. I will also provide the solution, but you guys try your own. Already I told you the first one, and the rest of the 3 you have to try. But here, especially when you're working with the MB, you need to use proper regular expression. You can check it my solution, how I have written the regular expression. For that, you need to import RE module. And when you write a regular expression, you need to write a RE dot compile. So that is a clue. Okay, so or else let me tell you. So how to, if I look at here, MBs, right? In every text value, there is an MB, except the percentage value. Rest of all 3 values, we have an MB. So how to grab this specific value which is having MB? So you need to write like this. Normally we will write row dot locator. We are getting TD, right? So I say TD. Has a text, same method. So has underscore text is also same. But when I say has a text, previously how we have specified has a text equal to, simply I can say equal to percentage. So this is how we have specified in our example. This is how we return. So in this case, now what we need to do other things. This is for Chrome browser. Suppose if you want to validate, so this will be working for this also, the first one. Now go to the second one. So how we can grab this MB value exactly? Because there are 3 TDs are there with MB. So in that case, again, you have to use has a text. And before using it, you need to import RE. Don't forget this. RE module we need to import whenever you're working with the regular expression. So has a text, instead of specifying this directly, use re.compile method. And inside this, you need to write MB. Okay, so again, look at this. Here MBPS, MB, MB slash S. Now everything is starting with MB only. Okay, but after this MB, here 2 more extra characters. Here also 3 extra characters. Sorry, after MB, there are 2 extra characters. But do we have any extra characters after MB here? There are no extra characters. So that you need to uniquely specify. MB dollar. Dollar sign is representing single. That means after MB, there are no characters. That is representation of dollar symbol. Now this will be exactly get the value from this particular memory. Okay, so for this you need to use. So for this, you have to use the first one. I'm also giving the clue. You have to just use it. For CPU load Chrome process, you have to use this. Okay, and for memory size of Firefox process, you need to grab MB. So for that, you need to use this. Okay, 2 requirements are over. Now the next one, network speed of Chrome process. Network speed of a Chrome process. Yes. So how to grab this? Network speed of Chrome process. Here what we have, network speed of Chrome process, MBPS. MBPS we can directly put it, right, because we don't have the same thing in anywhere. MBPS only here. There is no here. We don't have anywhere else. This is only MBPS we have. So happily we can directly write like this. The first one, whichever we have used. Same thing we can continue here. So you simply say Mbps is the case sensitive, exactly you need to put here. Mbps. Okay, this is for network speed of Chrome process. Now the disk space of Firefox process, you need to use another one. Space of Firefox process. So what is the value we have disk space? This is the one. So MB/S. MB/S. So we can also directly use hash text, no problem, because we don't have any other value with the similar to that. So the same thing. So instead of this, you can directly use MB/yes. We don't need any regular expression for all three. Only one place we need regular expression. Rest of all three you can directly specify. So if there are no such text or character and only numbers, how we can test? If you have only numbers here, even if it is a dynamically changing, you should hard code that value. So there is no other way. Because if you want to grab the unique one among the four, if you want to grab a specific one, you need some input from there. You need some clue there. You need to find that. Suppose here there is a 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. So all four are unique values. Let's say here A, B, C, D. Four are different. So you can grab it. But suppose here A, here also A. Both are common, right? So then you need to grab both and then you can use nth method. Nth of 0 or nth of 1. Like that you need. That's the only way we can do. Okay, so if we have multiple matching, then you have to use nth of method. Otherwise, no. So if we suppose if again it is rechanging or if the columns are interchanging, then you have to hard code this value. There is no other way. Okay, so this is how we need to implement. I will provide the solution for this also. You guys can go through and write a different test for different requirements. Okay, the 4 different things. So this is one dynamic table you have to do assignment. Next one is a pagination table. This is also another assignment. I've given everything. So this is a dynamic web table. And this is the pagination table. Extract data from the pagination table. So what you need to do in this? Currently we are in the first page. So you need to read all these 3 columns data. Let's say first row, 3 columns. You need to read this and you need to select the checkbox. And after this, read another row data and select the checkbox. Read third row data and select the checkbox. Similarly, fourth and check the checkbox, and fifth check the checkbox. After completion of this, go to next page. Again, do the repetition. Read and check the select boxes. Again, go to next page. And again, read the data and print it and select the checkboxes. And go to the last one. So this is fixed pagination. Okay, this is not dynamic actually. This is fixed. The 4 pages are fixed here. So you need to select all checkboxes also along with reading the data. Okay. So this is one assignment you guys can try. And apart from this, the third assignment, because during the weekend you guys can practice all these things. The next important one is Blaze demo flight booking automation. So you will learn so many things in this application testing. You guys can try this. I'll give the clues also accordingly you need to try. So I'll give the flow here. What you need to do in this. First go to this page and these are the 2 drop downs, normal selector drop downs. And you need to select the values, select the option. So departure city, whichever city you want, you can select it. And destination, select it. Randomly you can select whichever option you want. And after that, click on the find flights. Then you will see the table. This is the table. So in this table, you need to go to the last column. In the last column, you need to grab all the prices into a list collection. So you need to read all the prices from every row. You need to find all the prices in list collection and then find out the lowest price. Okay, so you need to put in the list collection and sort them. After sorting, you need to find the lowest price. And whichever lowest price you found here, accordingly, you need to go to and choose this flight. So here I could find the lowest price. So you need to choose this. Click on the flight. Now we'll navigate to another page. So here you need to put all the data. So these are all input boxes. You can happily put this data. And this is again drop down. and month, year, name on the card. You can just put some random values and then click on the purchase flight. So this is a dummy application, guys. You don't need to do any payments and everything. Just put all the data, dummy data, purchase flight, and then you have to verify this particular message. Thank you for purchase today. This message should be displayed on the web page. So this is the end-to-end flow. Okay, so you just write only one single test case which covers all the pages, one after another. The main crucial step is this one, handling the table. You need to grab all the prices into a list. That's the first activity. Second activity is you need to sort them. Along with the dollar, you can sort it because in all the prices, dollar is common. Right, so it will sort the numbers, rest of the numbers. So you can apply sorted method from the list collection. After sorting, grab the first element from the list. So that is obviously the lowest value. And whenever you find the lowest value, accordingly, you can go to the button and click on choose this flight. And rest of the things are same. Okay, so just try this. Accordingly, you can understand. Okay, these are the three assignments. I've given all the steps also. Just first read the description and steps, what I'm saying in this one by one, and accordingly put everything. Only one assertion is needed at the end. Everything is successfully selected or not. So this is a message you want to validate. And also I've given the data also accordingly. You can choose this. So these are the three assignments based upon the last 2 to 3 sessions. Whatever so far we have discussed from the last 2-3 sessions, we have seen how to handle input boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, drop downs, tables, right? So based on all these concepts, these 3 assignments are designed. So you guys can try this and finish them. In the next class, we will continue further. Okay. So that's all for today's class. I'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class.